Hey guys, I'm Kendra,
Hi, I'm Mercedes, and this week we're talking about a magical denim and a life-changing summer in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
which I'm so excited for saying. But of course, we
Yes.
gotta kick it off with our celebrity crush of the week. Who are you crushing on this week?
Literally the entire cast of The Bear. I know everyone's watching it. Jeremy Allen White has been hot for years on Shameless. I know, lipped
Mhm.
forever. And now he's even hotter playing Carmi. And Marcus, played by Lionel Boyce, needs more love. He is so sweet. He spends a whole, like, multiple episodes just focusing on making a single donut, and I love him.
I recently saw this TikTok of this girl who was like, some like news article came out with like, is this white boy hot? And it was just a bunch of like white, like famous celebrities who are white guys trying to decide if they're hot. And the number one was Jeremy Allen White, and everyone was like, is he hot though? Like, in some pictures he looks hot, and in some pictures he looks like
He is hot.
he is hot.
He's hot in the way that, like, like, you could meet like, this guy in real life, and you're like, "I trust you, even though maybe I shouldn't." But he seems really great in real life. His
I'm
characters,
obsessed
on the
with
other hand, yeah.
I'm obsessed with him and Addison. I think they're really cute. I like have some of their posts. Like they're just like a really cute couple. The way that they like I don't know, I feel like their love language is physical touch because sometimes the way that they're like wrapped up in each other is really cute. And I know they have two kids together. Like
Oh,
they-
see, it makes him even better knowing that he's, like, such a family guy too.
I
You're like,
know,
"Oh my god."
I know, I know. Okay, I will watch The Bear. I will add it to my list because you are not the first person to say that it's good. So I will
I think you'd really like it.
yeah. I mean anything on
Yeah,
FX I like. So I will definitely watch it.
yeah, okay.
Okay. So Tom Hanks has a son that
Oh
I didn't
god.
know about until like a few weeks ago. I know. His name is Chet, and he is like not what I thought a son of Tom Hanks would look like.
You're
He's
just now learning about Chet Hanks.
I'm just a lit I know. I wait, do you know him?
Yes, I'm very aware of Chet Hanks.
What do you know about him? Tell me about
He is just, like, corny, and he
Yeah.
was doing a Jamaican accent, and even he went on Z-Way's show and still did it, and people are like, "Why are you doing like, this isn't funny. Stop."
Okay. So that's the thing. I was just like, he's kind of a wankster. Like, I don't know if people still use that term, but like, he's kind of douchey. Like, he has all
Yeah.
these tattoos, but like, he works out a lot. His whole IG is just like a Nike commercial. Like, all of his captions are like, "If you never push yourself to the limits, you'll never know all you
Oh my
truly hold." Like,
god.
and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think he's kind of cute. And the thing is, I found out about him because a clip of him imitating the Joker went viral on Z-Way's show.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's how I discovered him. But it's so weird. I was like, I had no idea Tom Hanks had another son that wasn't Colin. Like,
Yeah, he is the 3rd one named Truman, who's my age.
really?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm learning so much about Tom Hanks.
Truman's my way into the Hanks family, and then you can marry Chet, and then we'll be Hanks.
I don't know if I want to marry Chet, but I do think he's kind of cute. I feel like I'd get annoyed of him really quickly.
Oh,
But
yeah.
guys, we're gonna move over to the TLDR. We like to summarize the movie for anyone who hasn't seen it. Warning, there are spoilers ahead. If you have not seen The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, you can stream it on HBO Max. Take it away, Mercedes.
Yeah. Yes, Alexis Bledel, Amber Tamblyn, America Ferrera, and Blake Lively played Lena, Tivy, Carmen, and Bridget. And these 4 have been best friends their whole life, and they're about to spend their first summer apart. Before they leave, the 4 discover a magical pair of jeans that perfectly fits each of them, and they decide to share the jeans equally over the summer as a way to connect them while they're apart. In Greece, Lena meets Kostas, and even though her family disapproves, she goes behind their backs to see him all summer. She falls hard for him, and her grandfather eventually gives her the approval, so that's good. So that's Lena's summer. In Mexico, Bridget catches the eye of one of her soccer camp counselors, Eric, and spends her time showing off on the field and trying to keep his attention. She ends up sleeping with him and then isolates herself because she falls into a depression afterward. When she returns home, she reflects on the loss of her mother and her experience in Mexico. Luckily, Tibby and Carmen are there to comfort her along the way. Carmen's visit to see her dad takes an immediate turn when she learns he's engaged, and she'll soon have a stepmom and step siblings. She feels forgotten and ignored as her dad rarely makes time for her and seems to care more about his new family. She hits a breaking point and returns home, but with the help of Tibby, decides to share her feelings and frustrations with her dad. Tibby, on the other hand, is working retail for the summer and filming a documentary in their hometown. She soon encounters a young girl named Bailey who refuses to leave her side and begins helping her with the film. The two bond, and Tibby learns that Bailey has leukemia. As Bailey's health turns for the worse and she passes away, Tibby decides to make a film inspired by Bailey. The four girls reunite and drive to South Carolina for Carmen's dad's wedding. Even though she's reluctant, Carmen attends wearing the magical jeans, and the four spend the night sharing their stories of the summer.
Yes. This is a 2005 film based off the book of the same name written by Anne Brashares. The film was written by Delia Ephron, who also did Bewitched and You've Got Mail. And she's also the sister of Nora Ephron, who we
Yes.
stand. And written also by Elizabeth Chandler, who also did What a Girl Wants. And it was directed by Ken Kwapis, who also directed He's Just Not That Into You and License to Wed. And I just have to say, Mercedes, I feel like this movie was kind of the start of like giving children cancer in rom-coms, which I
My God.
don't fully
Yes. I'm so tired of the sick narrative, and
Mhm.
it feels like this was definitely the start. That's such a good point. And then there was like the vampire zombie era where of like loving like the undead, and then it became loving someone who's dying. I was like, what is wrong with
Yes,
the world? Why
yes.
are we like this?
Mercedes, I think we need to write our own rom-com where we just kinda, like, make fun of, like, all of our
All
tropes
the
of
tropes.
all the tropes, yeah. Like, not another rom-com movie.
I love the idea of, like, having a lead who's, like, obsessed with rom-coms and tries to force the tropes into her life, but it just never goes right.
Yep, that sounds like me, actually, that really sounds like me. But tell me some of your favorite industry facts about this movie.
Oh my gosh. I think my all-time favorite is that the fact that these 4 leads have remained friends since filming. I love seeing their posts together when they're and, like, just their support in the comments to each other on, like, IG and stuff. It's so sweet, and, like, this came out in 2005. That's a long time to stay friends with your co-stars.
Yeah, seriously, but I'm happy they are also friends. I heard that they are, like, godparents to Blake Lively's daughter.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
Isn't that so sweet? So I learned that Alexis Bledel went through a summer camp type of training to learn how to ride a Vespa, learn how to ride a mule, scuba dive, and she took drawing lessons.
Oh my
Yeah.
god. That's
So
intense.
it's very intense because yeah, she did all of that in this movie.
Yes, Blake Lively had to learn how to play soccer too. They were all training.
Oh yeah, I know. But this was also Blake Lively's very first film. Did you know that?
I didn't, but I mean, it is like this was a couple years before she popped off on Gossip Girl, and I loved
Mhm.
seeing the trajectory of all of them. Like this was like prime time for Alexis Bledel
Mhm.
because this was like prime Gilmore Girls, and then America Ferrera, we know like she was just in Real Women Have Curves. Like this was really her time. This is a year before Ugly Betty. It's her
Oh,
time.
wow, I didn't know that. Um,
Yes.
okay, so I think we're gonna get more into this later in the episode, but I think we are both fans of Kostas. And I
Oh,
I saw that like him and Lena's relationship is a take on Romeo and Juliet with both families fighting, and I didn't think of that, and I thought that was really interesting.
yeah, that makes a lot of
It
sense.
makes a lot of sense, right?
Also, so America Ferrera almost wasn't in this movie because she wasn't interested in reading the script, and then her mom was like, "Please read it, you're gonna love it." And then when she did, she did. She loved it.
Aw,
And then, do you know Olivia Wilde almost was Bridget, and then Hilary Duff was almost Tibby.
that makes sense. I could see that.
It's so early 2000s.
Yeah, it really is. I could totally see that.
Oh my gosh. And then the special iconic jeans were actually just a pair of Levi's.
Just a pair of Levi's, man.
Yeah. They didn't end movie magic for everyone out there.
I'm
I bet
surprised
you could guess this. There wasn't just one pair.
I'm surprised they weren't like True Religion or something like that. I don't know.
Oh my god, yes, 7 jeans or
Yeah,
something.
it's not-
Miss Me jeans. Oh,
we are aging ourselves. This is embarrassing
I
ourselves.
didn't wear any of those. I just watched a lot of The Hills and read a
Mhm.
lot of people's style.
Yup, exactly. Guys, we're gonna move over to time capsule. We just like to recap where we were when we first watched this movie, which I don't remember the first time that I watched this movie, but I do think I saw it in theaters. And the reason is because I was such a fan of America Ferrera during that time because she did this Disney movie called Gotta Kick It Up. Do you remember that
See
movie?
Sip Wed That
Yes!
Forever. It is one of the best Disney Channel movies.
It
Yeah.
really is. It really
Mhm.
is. Okay, so that movie inspired me to try out for my middle school dance team. And it's funny because I didn't make it in 6th grade. I ended up being an alternate in 7th grade, which meant I only danced when someone else was sick. And then I was somehow made captain in 8th grade, even though I hadn't even like been a part of the team.
I love
So
this arc, this upward movement for you.
right? Let's make it make sense. Then I decided to dance competitively all through high school. Ended up getting 2nd place in state for like this drill down competition, which is like a series of
Amazing.
military goals. And I just feel like I have America to thank for that because if it wasn't for that movie, I would have never discovered my love for dancing as a child.
Yes. Okay, there's a scene in that movie where she, like, rubs Vaseline on her teeth to make them
Yeah.
shinier when she's dancing, and I always think of that because 'cause I'm a big, like, Vaseline for, like, chapstick girl.
Yep,
So
me too.
anytime I'm just like, "Wow, America Ferrera put this on her teeth."
Yeah, it's really gross. It's to help you remember to smile. I remember her doing that, and I haven't done that since, but that was I wanna watch it because I know it's on Disney Plus. I wanna watch it,
Yeah.
and I haven't. Like, that
Oh,
was the era of, like, good Disney movies.
yes, that's such a classic.
Yeah.
Gosh, I loved it.
Where were you?
I
What were you doing?
I don't even remember watching this for the first time, but I probably rented it once it was on DVD.
Yeah.
And this movie is such a staple for me. It's like a go-to comfort movie to the point where I don't even I can't even remember a time that it wasn't in my life because it's just always the one I reach for when I just need like a security blanket type of movie, and, like, these
Yeah.
girls are my sisters. I love them,
God.
and in high school, my dream was to share a giant pair of sweatpants that fit none of my friends, like, none of us, and I thought it'd be so funny, and my friends were like, "That's not funny, we're not gonna do that, that's too much work," and I was like, "Okay, fine," it never happened, but I love those friends, so I always think of them when I think of this, and
Aw.
because they're basically family, you know? They're that type
Yeah.
of friend group.
I love your friends. I love when you tell stories about your friends. It seems like you surround yourself with really good people, so
Yeah, I feel
I
really lucky with all my friends.
yeah, that's awesome. Do you remember who you had a crush on during that time? Wait, how old were you,
Okay.
first of all?
So I was 9 when this movie came
Okay.
out. It was this summer before 4th grade, and
Okay.
I could not for the life of me think of, like, my real life crush, probably a boy on my soccer team, but
Mhm.
I was really trying to think about it, couldn't find any proof of that, but my crushes were definitely, like, Princess Diaries to Chris Pine and then Hayden
Yeah.
Christensen in the Star Wars prequels.
Oh, no.
Those 2 changed my life. I love the prequels, and everyone wants to hate on them. I'm in love with Hayden Christensen, sorry to say it, but that's why I love them.
That's so funny. I've never gotten on the Hayden Christensen train. That's, like, the one train I've never gotten on. I don't
Really? Oh my god, you need to watch Shattered Glass.
Have you
Watch
seen
Shattered Glass.
Jumper?
No.
Jumper is probably one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. It's Hayden Christensen and Rachel Bilson, and it's terrible. I
No, watch Shattered Glass, he's so
okay.
good in it, and, like, he's kind of a criminal in it, but, like, hot and nerdy, so
Kind of a criminal.
Yes.
Okay, so this movie came out when I was, like, 12 or 13, and I had a big crush my 7th grade year on this boy named Gabe Earl, and I will never forget him because he knew I liked him, and one day he called me this, like, has scarred me forever. One day he called me and pretended like he was gonna ask me out, only for him to ask me for my best friend's phone number.
Oh my
And
god.
I think I cried for, like, a few days. Can I just say, kids in middle school are so cruel in ways that are, like, so creative. Like, so freaking creative that I'm impressed. Like, some of the things that, like, kids would do in middle school, I'm like I look back and I'm like, "That was really creative. I hope you're using those skills
Yeah,
towards
you're like, "You
something better."
traumatized me, but that is so clever."
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
I totally relate to that. There are some memories that I'm like, "I bet these people don't even remember this, but it stuck with me forever, and it's
Yeah.
haunting me."
Guys, it's time for the Rom-Com Hall of Fame. But first, we gotta roast this film. And I don't know about you, Mercedes. I have a lot to say, but you go first.
My one of my biggest ones is that these college boys are pursuing teen girls, and I don't like it. I don't trust it, and
Mhm.
it's tough to criticize because I love Kostas. He is
Yeah.
just everything to me. But
So
Lena
funny.
is in high school and he is in college. And then don't get me started on Eric, the soccer camp counselor.
I
He
know.
needs to stay away from Bridget. And it stresses me out so much every time he even looks at her. I know she's pursuing him, but he's
Mhm.
legally an adult and should not act on it. And I'm just I don't know. He's very early 2000s blonde to me too, and that's just
Yeah.
not the vibe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Tell me some of your roasts.
Okay, so I feel like the relationship between Carmen and her dad is just really triggering
Mm,
because this whole movie just showed that in order for them to have any sort of a relationship, the effort all had to be on Carmen's part, who was the
yeah.
child. And I just feel like if she didn't show up at the wedding, she wouldn't have heard from him. She had to call him after she threw a rock to tell him how she feels because he didn't call her. And this just leads into my next rose, which is like, I feel like no one in this movie has good parents, in my opinion.
Mhm.
Bridget's dad just ignores her and lacks
Yeah.
any ability to communicate. Tibby's mom uses her as a babysitter for her younger siblings, which I
Mhm.
just, I remember watching a TikTok video explaining how traumatizing that is as a kid when you like are the oldest and you're constantly having to babysit your younger siblings, you're essentially like your childhood is taken away and you form like a lot of resentment against your parents and just all this stuff. And like just a word to parents, like your oldest kid is not like meant to be a free babysitter. Like that's not what they're there
Retweet,
for. Yeah.
retweet.
Not that that's not what they're meant for. And then I feel like, yeah, like I said, Carmen's dad just sucks, and we don't even see Lena's parents. So I
Mhm.
just feel like there's just a lot of bad parenting that I could see them being traumatized by as they get older. Because all of who we are, like our love languages and our thoughts and our feelings all stem from childhood traumas. So I
Yeah.
just see them going down a bad road because their parents just
I
all suck.
yeah. I absolutely hate Carmen's dad. He
Mhm.
is truly like no one irks me more than him in this movie. He's so
Yeah.
terrible.
Yeah.
And I wish he threw more rocks through that window because he sucks and I hate him. And you know what? He is also the dad in Get Out. And
Yes.
I knew he was bad immediately because I was like, I know this guy. I've seen Sisterhood Traveling Pants. I don't
Yes.
trust him.
I don't trust him. On top of that too, I feel like Bridget is such a pick me, like
Oh my God.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I was like, is it just me? Like Bridget is just like, look at me, oh my gosh, look at me. And I'm just like, you I
I
don't know.
think it's that time of like, sadly, it's that time of like being a teen where like people are looking at you and
Ugh,
probably people who shouldn't be looking at you like adults.
yeah.
And I think she takes advantage of that because she is really trying to like fill some type of just like hole in her world because
Mhm.
she like they talk about it. She's still grappling with grieving her mother and her mother's death. So it is all just like reactions and I know she's a teen, so I don't want to be like I don't want to like criticize her as much because I'm like I know there's just a lot of shit going on with you.
Yeah.
And it's like it's all and but she is the total pick me, but it's like it's not her true self. It's just, like, who she's trying to be or, like, what she's trying to fulfill for herself. Ugh,
You
I
were
feel for her.
you are so much kinder than I
I
am.
just wanna protect them all. I'm like, "These girls." Because I don't know, like, being a teen girl is never easy, no matter who you are and no matter what
Yeah.
your experiences is, and none of us have had any, like, similar experiences, really. Like,
Mhm.
no one goes through the exact same experience, but it's just yeah, I just wanna protect these teen girls from
I hear you. My last one, which is completely unrelated to what we were talking about. There's a when they were talking about the rules for the pants, they said
Oh,
you can't
yeah.
cuff the pants or tuck the shirt in and wear a belt, and that's literally every single outfit that I wear. And I'm just like,
Oh,
I was mortified when they
no.
said that. I was like, gosh, fashion has changed so much. I didn't realize that used to not be cool. Like that's literally every outfit that I wear. It's like a tucked in shirt with a belt and like cuff pants. Whoops.
I mean, like, this is like a low-rise bootcut jean. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who's wearing that right now. Maybe, like, all the, like, Gen Z fashion girls, the e-girls on
Yeah.
TikTok and stuff, they can pull it off.
Oh my god, it's so funny. Wait, Mercedes, tell me your favorite quote from this movie.
So it's not even really specific, but it's just the Carmen phone call to her dad.
Mm,
And it's the whole conversation, it's perfect. That girl is acting. America Ferrera is an actor. It's
yes.
heart-wrenching. She has the snot, moco's face, like, crying, ugly tear ugly crying face. I'm like, "This is me."
Yes.
I love her. I love her.
There you go, there you go. Okay, so the quote that I like is actually from an emotional scene when they are trying on, like, the bridesmaids' dresses,
Yeah.
and, Carmen says, "We just tell everyone that Carmen is Puerto Rican, and it never occurred to you that she might be built differently, or unlike you and your daughter, she has an ass."
Yes. Oh my god. Acting again.
Acting again. America is the real like, I feel like she's the stealer of this movie, like, she's and
Completely.
yeah, and she's narrating it too, so I feel like that just kinda gives her more.
She's like the glue of the friendship,
Yeah.
and I love her character. She's the most sentimental one out of all of them, especially the second one. We know, like, you and I both love the second one. So
Yes.
I know, like, in there, she's, like, clinging to this friendship and really being like, "No, we need to, like, really just, recognize how special this is." And she's the one who really sees how special, like, sharing this pair of pants and, like, the magic of it all is, and
Yeah.
I adore her. I'm such a Carmen, so
I love it. I love it. Alright, so if this movie popped up on your Tinder feed, are you swiping left or are you swiping right?
I'm totally swiping right. I'm obsessed with friendship stories like this. I love how well-rounded each individual story is and how we get to see them all grow and learn something about themselves that's just about them, separate from the group. And they're also like, but they also know that like their friends are going to be there and support them throughout that and navigating any difficulty. Their friends are there for them, even if they're not nearby.
Yeah.
And it's so special to see, especially in an early 2000s film, because there was this interesting message of, like, girl power within all this, like, the year before this, we had the Cheetah Girls movie, which is, like,
Yes.
core 4 who were so
Yeah.
special, and then even, like, Bend It Like Beckham is another, like, girl power movie, and then I think of, like, all the Mary-Kate and Ashley movies as, like, girl power movies too, and but then in the media, we had a lot of press pitting young famous girls against each other
Yeah.
in and, like, young celebrity teens against each other. So it was this, like, really toxic narrative of women hate each other versus, like, friendship.
Mm.
And I think this really gives an in-depth look into the dynamics of a friendship between teen girls, and it's all about, like, being an imperfect person just growing up, and it feels really real. It feels real to me. And even if it centers around a magical pair of pants, it feels just so authentic. They're learning about life and loving their friends. And
Mm.
it's just like so nice to see a range of stories. Like I said before, none of us grow up the same way. So seeing an array of experiences, mind you, it's still in like this bubble of like they're all pretty well off and whatever. But like, yeah, like they have their own privileges, but it is special to see just like the range of experience that you get during
Yeah.
this time of adolescence, and just building bonds is so important during this time. And for me, this movie like blends comfort and relatability and like aspiration for younger me. Like I found qualities in all of them that I wanted to have in myself as a
Yeah.
younger child, as a child watching this. So
Yeah.
I'll love it
Absolutely.
forever.
Can I ask you, Mercedes, what are some qualities that you admire in your friendships? Like the people that are closest to you. What are some qualities that you admire?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. I think just support, like, nothing ever feels competitive with any of my friends.
Mm.
Their wins, I feel like it's just a win for the world and any
Aw.
time and that's how they, like, react to my wins. And they're also like, the other day, I messaged them about just, like, some insecurity I was feeling for the day, and I messaged, like, multiple people, and they all just gave me such reassuring just points and just, like, great advice and just, like, made me feel really special and heard.
Yeah.
And these were different friends in, like, different areas of my life too, so it made me just feel like I just have, like, such a well-rounded group of people who I support and they support me, and it just feels so I don't know, like, I love all my friendships, even the ones that I, like, don't talk to all the time, I'm like, "Gosh, you guys are just so special." I love seeing anytime they're, like just any of their successes online and stuff, I'm just so proud. How about you?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, I think I really value support in my friends, like when they are able to be there for me, when I need it, just because I just had a point in my life where I just need more support. Like I got really sick yesterday when I came home from my trip, and it just made me mad that like I am the one who like always has to take care of myself when I'm sick. Like I was the one who had to like go across the street to get medicine. I had to go and like buy food and all of this stuff. Like I didn't have anyone there to like help me out. And I feel like when my friends are able to be there for me when I'm going through something and just, like, provide, like, lend a listening ear, it means so much to me because I can oftentimes I just feel very alone. And so I like when my friends remind me that, like, no matter what, they're gonna be there for me. So
I love that.
I really appreciate that. Yes.
And you were just on, like, such a major, like, big, like, girl trip, and it was so fun to see online because I was like, "Oh my gosh, all these people, they're just having so much fun." And
Yeah.
I love seeing, like, friend groups just, like, living it up.
Yeah, and I got really lucky. So, for any of the listeners who don't know, I actually just hosted my very first group trip to Bali, Indonesia, which was great. I went with 10 other girls, and my group was amazing. They were so great. They were all really cool girls, all just, like, really funny. We got along really well, and we were all kind of on the same wavelength too. Whenever one of us was tired, we were all tired. Whenever one of us wanted to do something, we all wanted to do so it was like
That's what you
nice.
need.
That's what you need, exactly. Okay, so in terms of, like, if this pops up on my Tinder feed, if it's between this movie and the second one, I'm definitely swiping left on this one and swiping right on the second one because
Whoa.
I know, controversial, but I do in this movie, in the first one, I love the backdrop of Greece, but seeing these girls' relationships with their parents is very triggering for me, but I absolutely love the second one. I hope we do an episode on it soon.
Oh my gosh, I could go on and on. Everyone go on Letterboxd and find me, Mercedes GB11, and go like my review on the second one because it's actually my most liked review on
Oh, no.
Letterboxd. Yeah, I think it's just because no one watches the movies, so it's very few reviews.
I will definitely go to watch it. All right, guys, it's time for couples therapy. Mercedes and I just like to give relationship advice for all of the characters on how they can improve their relationship. And so I want to hear what you think, Mercedes. How do you think
Mhm.
everyone in this movie could just do better all around?
So these girls are young, and a lot of them have to deal with really real life heavy experiences like loss and grief.
Hmm.
And this movie captures a summer where they're coming into their own and grappling with a lot of deep thoughts and emotions. And I just want them to continue to grow and accept love in all forms into their lives and to communicate their needs and accept the care and support that they deserve.
Hmm.
And also just continuing to be vulnerable and not let hurt and pain harden them. And just letting themselves feel any feelings as they come. I think our go-to, especially when we're young, is to really, like, conceal that from the world because it feels
Hmm.
like you're the only one feeling it, but
Yeah.
the best thing to do is just let yourself feel it so then you can cope in a way that's a lot healthier than trying to find validation in other people or trying to run away from any of your problems,
Mhm.
and that's such an important lesson to learn, and the younger you learn it, the better, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. That was so beautifully said, Mercedes. You're so insightful. I always tell you. Um, I couldn't agree more. I think this is a summer where they learn about change and need to learn how to kind of ebb and flow with whatever life throws at them. So
Yeah.
that's something what this summer is for. But I'm curious what you think their love languages are. I feel like I think all of their love languages are quality time. Like,
Mhm.
Carmen wants to spend time with her dad, Lena wants to spend time with Kostas, and Timmy and Bailey form a friendship through spending time making a movie together, and Bridget literally goes off her way to chase her coach down, to spend time with him. So I would say quality time. I'm curious what you think.
So I kind of framed it as the theme of the movie because it is hard with all these characters. So
Mhm.
I think the love language of the movie is a little bit of gift giving because the genes may not actually be magic, but they hold this power that gives the girls the boost they need to venture out of their own comfort zone.
Mhm.
And so I think the gift for all of them was the genes coming into their life. And then mailing them back and forth is also just like a repeated cyclical gift to each other. And then I also think words of affirmation are important in this movie because they communicate through letters. And we see an important part of all their growth is learning how to communicate their feelings and learning how to be vulnerable with people outside their friend group too.
Mhm.
So they're really learning how to trust themselves and trust that people can listen to them and understand what they're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. I love
Mhm.
that. All right, so okay, not that there are too many couples in here, but do you think any of the couples last 5 years?
So, based on the second movie, we know which couples move on to the next, and it's Kostas and Lena, but not without any ups and downs and breakups of their own. And then also we get to see Tibby and Brian McBride, the video game boy,
Mhm.
date in the second movie, and that does not come with without a lot of issues for them and just a lot of conflict. And yeah, so I think the relationship that lasts here is the friendship, and all
Yeah.
the other relationships can come and go, but this bond remains for years because
Mhm.
they're basically like they're just bonded forever, and I love that. It's just so special. There's true like to me, there's just nothing more special than friendship.
I agree. I agree. I do think these girls will be friends forever. I think if you're able to form that kind of bond at that age where, we are kind of selfish as teenage girls, right? Like
Yeah.
there's a lot that we are focused on. And if you are able to be selfless enough to be there for your friends, I think that really forms a strong friendship. And I do think they'll be friends forever. So I love that.
And,
Uh,
like, welcoming in growth into the friendship too. Like, you need
yeah.
to accept that your friends are going to evolve, and this won't be the same friendship. Like, it won't look like what it looked like when you were 15, but that
Hmm.
doesn't mean that it's not any less special. It just means that it's a different area of life.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, guys, it is time for Heartthrob. Mercedes and I like to talk about who we are going to bring home with us. And I think we are actually on the same page here, Mercedes.
Hell yes.
Yes, yes. Are
Yes.
we are we both thinking Costas? Because can
Forever,
I just
every
say
day. Yes.
every day that man in a freaking turtleneck what the hell?
I
Are you
know.
kidding me?
I
He
know.
looks so fine. Like, so, and he's educated and he's so romantic and he has a smile that just brings tears to my eyes. I'm obsessed. I'm
And he's
obsessed.
wise, and he's, like, emotionally available. Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Oh,
Gosh.
he changed the lives of millions of young girls in 2005. And even now when I watch, I'm, like, daydream about Kostas. I'm, like,
Mhm.
running up to him, "Kostas,
Yeah.
Kostas." Like, and oh my gosh, and I want him to take me fishing and drive me on his
Yes.
scooter and tell me about the moon. And I would bet money that Santorini's tourism skyrocketed because of this man in 2005.
You think?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so funny. All right, guys, we're gonna play Mary Smooch Ghost. We have Costas, Eric, and Brian. Who would you marry? Who would you smooch? And who would you ghost?
Obviously, I'm marrying Kostas.
Obviously.
I'd kiss Brian McBrien because he's sweet, and then I'm ghosting Eric. Get out of here.
Oh no. Okay. Yeah, definitely marry Costas. In a heart, I would actually be the one proposing. I'd be down on one knee with the ring, be like begging him, please
Oh
spend the
god.
rest of your life with me. Um, I would actually smooch Eric and ghost Brian just because I feel like we don't know a lot about Brian in this movie.
Yeah.
Um, so I would smooch Eric because I do also really like Mike Vogel, the actor who plays him. He's great. He's actually a really great actor. But yeah, and then I would, yeah, ghost Brian. But if this was a second movie, that'd be a different story.
Yeah. The second movie, his abs, the second one that like come out of nowhere. You're like, hello in the
I
dorm. You're
know.
like, what? I thought you played video games. What's going
Right?
on?
What is happening? Guys, before we wrap it up, we always love to bring in a pop culture moment. But I want to ask you first, Mercedes, of the
Yeah.
four girls in their summer vacations, which one would you have wanted?
Oh my god. Obviously, I want to be Lena. I want to be Lena
Obviously.
every day for the rest of my life.
Yep.
This goes along with my question.
Mhm.
Which girl in the sisterhood are you?
Hmm. I would say I am Tibby, um, because I really like filmmaking, and also too, I was that person like had to work over the summer, in order to
Same.
earn money. So I would say I am more like Tibby, but not in terms of like Tibby can be pessimistic a bit,
Yeah.
and I'm not. I'm the least pessimistic person ever.
Mm.
So I think that is not necessarily similar to us, but just in terms of, like, her hobbies and what she does over the summer, I think we're similar in that regard. But what about you? Which sister well, you said you were Carmen,
I'm
right?
such a Carmen, yeah.
You're such a Carmen, yeah. Yeah, I could see that, I could see that. You're like I can see you being the glue that holds your friendship together, you know?
Thank you. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
I'll have to ask my friends. Oh, I always say I'm like all of the girls like have like relatable qualities, but like truly like no one is Bridget. Like and like in high school or like growing up, like all my friends were like, I want to be Bridget, I want to be Bridget. And it's like, girl, like none of us are Bridget. I'm telling you
Yeah.
right now, none of us are Bridget.
And that's a good thing, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
One of my favorite interviews is when Ryan Reynolds is on some late night show, and he's talking about what it's like to have a kid. It was, like, after they had their first kid, and he goes, "I love my wife so much, but the second that our child was born, I knew that I would use my wife as a human shield to protect our baby."
Yeah.
And I just thought that was so funny and so cute. I love that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds are, like, this cute couple, and I hope they stay together forever.
I know they're very sweet.
They're very sweet.
Um, my other pop culture moment is this soundtrack. It's
Mm.
it's amazing. I listen to it all the time still. I could be in the worst mood and then you play an Unwritten for me and
Mhm.
I'm happy, I'm smiling, I'm twirling, I'm dancing. I'm such like obviously I bring up the hills like almost every episode. I feel like
I love The Hills.
and their song is Unwritten too. So like anytime I hear it, I've probably heard it so many times because I've rewatched this and The Hills so many times. But
Mhm.
it's just like I think it's one of my favorite songs. Like
Aw.
it just makes me so happy.
It's good, it's a good one, it's a classic. Listeners, we wanna hear from you. What are your thoughts on this movie? Which friend are you in the friend group? Well, how would you spend your summer vacation? Are you a fan of Costas? Make sure to slide into our DMs at @MeCute. Again, I'm Kendra. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Ken10Hollywood.
Yes, and I've been Mercedes. You can find me at MercedesGB11 on Twitter, IG, and TikTok. And if you're looking for new rom-coms, follow Meet Cute wherever you listen to podcasts and follow Meet Cute on socials everywhere. Bye, everybody.
We'll see you next week.